Alicia Gray is having a word with someone in the crowd, and now security is also involved.
Looks like that fan is being
during the Fever's historic playoff breakthrough. Chaos briefly unfolded off the court. Alicia Gray of the Atlanta Dream pointed at a Fever fan, claiming something had happened. Security rushed in, but the story quickly unraveled when details failed to match. While Atlanta scrambled to explain mixed narratives, Indiana was too busy seizing the moment, snapping their playoff drought in front of a roaring home crowd. The contrast couldn't be sharper. One team tangled in confusion, the other controlling the scoreboard. That's not just embarrassing. It's fuel for a must-see Game 3. If you're riding with Indiana, drop a comment. I've got the Fever.
Clear to us, the WNBA does not appreciate fans, don't want us there. We have been thrown out of games for a multitude of ridiculous things. We have watched these players complain and trash us all. They called half of us racist. They've called all types of stuff. All types of stuff. Now, without Caitlin Clark, the viewership has been cut in half by 50%. 50% for the playoffs. For the playoffs, y'all. And they still are getting fans thrown out.
What exactly did Alicia Gray believe she heard from the Indiana crowd that night? And why did it spiral into such chaos? That's still unclear. Almost the moment she turned toward the Fever section, pointed and signaled security, the story fractured into conflicting versions. On live television, the cameras caught her gesture, a handful of fans standing in confusion, and arena staff rushing to escort people out before the broadcast quickly cut away. For viewers, it felt like a major incident had just unfolded. The timing made it even bigger. An accusation that bowled in the middle of a playoff battle instantly shifted the narrative. Atlanta wanted it framed as more than basketball. Their star had been disrespected. Their team had been wronged. And suddenly, attention veered away from the scoreboard and onto the stand.
She got a fan kicked out last night against the Indiana Fever, only for the fan to speak their piece to the security. Security found out, oh, you didn't say anything at all, actually. Yeah, come back to your seat. Let me just wipe that seat off for you. Here, please, have a seat, ma'am. Alicia Gray played like absolute you-know-what last night and decided to take it out on fans.
At first glance, it looked like Alicia Gray was reacting to a truly outrageous comment, serious enough to justify fans being removed. Yet the very next day, reports painted completely different pictures. Some outlets brushed it off as harmless heckling, the type of noise athletes expect in a playoff atmosphere. Others suggested it crossed a personal line, but without explaining exactly what was said. That lack of clarity raised immediate questions. If spectators are pulled from a postseason game, shouldn't the explanation be clear and consistent? Instead, what followed was a confusing mix of contradictory descriptions, none of which matched the accounts from people who were actually inside the arena.
This is nuts. By the way, security brought this couple back in and apologized to them. All right? They removed the couple because they do it to let the players calm down, because it's clear these players aren't professionals. Hey, that's what you owe us. You owe us at this point. Stop it. Stop it. So, she's now fully been exposed.
Eyewitness accounts soon surfaced, and that's when cracks began to show in Gray's version of events. One fan seated nearby insisted the remark was simply, asterisk, you're good, Lex. She's not even trying anymore. Asterisk, clearly meant as encouragement for Lexi Hall, not an insult toward Gray. No vulgarity, no threat, just routine sports chatter. Yet that harmless comment somehow escalated into visible player frustration, a signal for security, and the unnecessary removal of paying fans from their seats. If that doesn't sound like a stretch, then what exactly does?
Let's get this account of the situation. The guy in the black hat yelled to Lexi, who was running to guard Gray, and said, quote, "You're good, Lex. she's not even trying anymore. Gray lost her shit and said some very nasty words to the guy and the people next to him. Because he said she's not even trying anymore. She can't handle that kind of heckling. Are you kidding me? Quit sports today.
And this is where the story completely unraveled. The fans who were escorted out, they didn't stay gone. Reports confirmed they returned to their seats later in the game, a clear sign of how minor the supposed offense really was. If something truly serious had been said, security wouldn't hand out a brief timeout before letting them stroll back in. By the end of the night, the optics were impossible to ignore. It looked far less like unruly fan behavior and far more like a player who simply couldn't handle routine home court heckling during the middle of a blowout.
The guy did not say anything out of line whatsoever. They were let back in shortly after. When asked what happened, he said that they said it was protocol to remove the fan to allow the player to calm down. I mean, all these players ought to be playing in bozo outfits. Gray had a bad night, and there is no excuse for the things she said or the way she acted.
On social media, the incident exploded. Clips of the ejection spread fast, and the words Gray allegedly reacted to were quickly dissected. Post-game chatter highlighted how little the story added up. Fans flagged contradictions. Commentators called it baffling. By Monday morning, the consensus was clear. It looked like nothing more than a weak attempt to shift blame from the Dream's poor showing.
Alicia Gray getting this fan kicked out, and of course, the internet went ablaze. Oh my God, those Indiana Fever fans! Of course, after the fake hoax of early this year with Angel Reese, Angel Smollett, some people are calling her. Fake race hoax, people are saying, oh my gosh, those Indiana Fever fans, what could they have possibly said? And the rumor mill starts going, and the rumor mill starts going, and the rumor mill starts going.
Stepping back, the whole episode only backfired on Atlanta. The so-called lie, as fans branded it, never stuck. Attention shifted toward Indiana's resilience, not Gray's attempt to deflect. Instead of earning sympathy, the Dream appeared rattled, while the Fever looked tougher in every way. That's the ultimate contrast. As Gray pointed toward the crowd, Indiana pointed toward the scoreboard, writing history in the process and leaving no doubt about which team owned the moment.
WNBA players, you guys are not ready for the big lights. You're not ready for the big lights. You're not ready. I could look you in your eyes and see you're not ready. Y'all can't handle people showing up to games. Y'all can't handle people actually being an interested, invested fan.
With 5 players stuck in street clothes, how did Indiana still look sharper, hungrier, and more connected than Atlanta? That's what stunned so many people. Caitlin Clark had just been ruled out for the season. Sophie Cunningham was also sidelined. Sydney Colson and Chloe BBY were unavailable, and A.R. McDonald couldn't go either. That's a huge chunk of the rotation erased, headlined by the player who drew national attention and transformed league ticket sales. For most teams, especially facing a must-win, that kind of loss would crush morale. But for Indiana, it had the opposite effect. They rose higher.